The Fold 7 may just be the biggest upgrade that Samsung has ever given us, even though my studio is currently a downgrade since I'm in London for some secret events, so yeah, this is why the background is quite a bit different. But yeah, I do want to share all my sympathies with all of you Fold 6 buyers, as this year is clearly the one that was worth waiting for. So everything in this video, including our concept, is fully based on the most up-to-date publicly available leaks. Some things may of course change by the time the Fold 7 gets officially announced next week. However, I do expect most details to be quite similar to the leaked design and the leaked features and the leaked specs. So here's the full picture of the Fold 7. There are 8 key areas to fill in, so let's get straight into the big ones. Also, if you guys are looking to pre-order the Fold 7, you can get $50 in Samsung credit plus up to $1,150 in extra savings, plus even get a chance to win $5,000 in Samsung credit by using the link below. Simply open the link in the description, enter your first name, last name, and email, and that's it. You'll be registered to take part in this exclusive Fold 7 and Flip 7 offer. Okay, so let's talk about the design first. The whole design has been leaked extensively, with the most recent leaks giving us a really good idea of the final Fold 7 form. The most recent leaks point towards a 4.2mm thickness when unfolded, and 8.9 when folded. This would be a whole 3.2mm thinner than the Fold 6 when folded, which is a huge jump. You can probably see this in our concept. Even folded, it looks unbelievably thin, and of course, unfolded, it just looks insane. In fact, this is actually the same thickness as my very loved Oppo Find N5, which does feel truly incredible in the hand. And it is currently the thinnest phone on the market right now, or at least until the Honor Magic V5 releases. It's also a larger device than the Fold 6 by quite a bit, rumored to be nearly 4mm taller and over 1 cm wider when unfolded, which I think was desperately needed as the Fold 6 was just way too narrow to use comfortably on the cover screen. It's also said to weigh 215 grams, which I would say is really impressive. That's actually about the same as the S25 Ultra, so I think it will feel very similar when folded, but then unfolded, it should feel incredible, as all of that weight will be spread across this super thin and large canvas. For the colors, we are rumored to get a new shadow blue, basically the navy blue, I think, from the Fold 6. Then we're also said to be getting this lovely silver shadow, which is making a comeback, and same goes for the jet black, which was first featured in the S25 Ultra. There's also said to be another new color called mint green, something that we have not seen on a Fold before, although we have seen this on the S25. One small detail that has changed is the camera rings, which were previously thicker and always black on the Fold 6, but the latest leaks point towards these still being black, however, now having a much thinner ring. We did color match them in our concept, which I do believe looks better. However, in the leaked press image, the ring is actually black. An icy blue color has also been leaked as a Samsung exclusive, so likely similar to the Fold 5 of the same color. Now, Ice Universe claims that nobody liked these Saturn design rings, so that is why Samsung abandoned them mid-development. Now, a very small camera detail is said to be this layered bump. We've got a black plastic layer, then the same blue as the phone, then a black section of the lens, and then the metal ring of the lens. My guess, this is likely some sort of wizardry to fit that 200-megapixel sensor into this insanely thin 4.2mm body. Now, with larger phone comes a larger display, and we've got plenty of leaked specs here. We're rumored to get a 6.5-inch cover screen from the 6.3-inch on the Fold 6, and an 8-inch inner screen from the 7.6-inch on the Fold 6. Now, we are not sure of the exact aspect ratio for the cover display, but it does look to be around 21:9 from the 22:9 on the Fold 6. Regardless, it's still going to be far from the 19.5:9 on the S25 Ultra. Still, the size increases of both displays will make a huge difference when consuming content. Although one downgrade for the inner display is rumored to be the loss of that under-the-display camera, which I do think is a shame, as when you unfolded the Fold 6, it was simply a full canvas. A massive uninterrupted one. Yeah, personally, I would have kept that under-the-display camera even though it would have affected the photos. Now, both of the displays are said to be 120Hz and have a resolution just shy of 2K, so they will be very sharp. Now, it's also likely that they'll both have a peak brightness of 2600 nits just like the Fold 6 and the S25 Ultra, and that's because there have been no leaks on the brightness being increased. The bezels could be thinner on both, with some early leaks talking about some outrageously thin bezels, although more recent leaked images do show more normal looking bezels. So even though they may be getting thinner, I don't think it's gonna be a huge difference. Now, there were two more smaller display details that have been talked about, such as an anti-reflective coating for the inner folding display being tested on the Fold 7, and then also, when we went to MWC 2025, we did see Samsung having this prototype of an almost crease-free display. So we may get both of these or none of these, we'll have to wait and see. But in a nutshell, the Fold 7 will indeed have the brightest and the biggest and probably the most beautiful display you'll ever see on a foldable device, at least as of now. So I think our wallpapers will look even more stunning here, especially on the Fold 7. And this is what we are using, by the way, in our concepts here. And if you do want to get the same wallpapers for your devices as well, you can get them in 8K and for free by using the link below. So what's happening with the cameras? Well, the main camera is said to be getting a huge upgrade. The same 200 megapixel sensor as in the S25 Ultra. Although there are some leaks saying that the aperture will be smaller at f1.8 instead of f1.7. Although the sensor itself is rumored to be the exact same. So coming from the 50 megapixel sensor that's been around since the Fold 4, this is going to be a huge upgrade. Although aside from this, the only other camera change that's rumored is said to be that inner folding display front camera, which is no longer going to be a 4 megapixel camera, but instead a new 10 megapixel sensor. But unfortunately, that's all the changes. The ultralight is rumored to be the same 12 megapixel sensor as before, and same goes for the 10 megapixel telephoto camera, which, yeah, it was not great in the past, as it lacked both the actual zoom capabilities and the sharpness of something like the S25 Ultra with that amazing 50 megapixel 5x module. So I do feel like if you do want the best cameras, you still want to go for the S25 Ultra. Some of the other leak changes are a next-gen Pro Visual Engine and log video. Although the visual engine isn't going to be a game changer, as it wasn't a game changer on the S25 Ultra. And log video, I would say, is still very niche, so really the main camera upgrade is that new main sensor. As for the performance, the chip inside is rumored to be the Snapdragon 8 Elite, the 4 Galaxy version that the S25 Ultra also uses. In our testing, compared to the regular 8 Elite chip, it actually got higher Geekbench scores, but then it also had longer export times in Premiere Rush. Still, this chip is absolutely incredible, with a multi-core score even outperforming the A18 Pro. As for the RAM, 12GB is expected with either 256 or 512GB of storage. We may also see a 16GB of RAM variant paired with 1TB of storage, although I'm not really sure if that's going to be the case for the international market, as with the S25 Ultra, that was only the case in Korea, China, and Taiwan. There's also no leaked information on the vapor chamber, so I do expect something similar to the Fold 6 here. So really, I wouldn't be surprised if the Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy chip inside the Fold 7 makes it the most powerful foldable device on the market. As for special features, not a lot has been leaked, but what we do know is that we may actually be losing support for the S Pen, although maybe not entirely. And that's because the digitizer is said to be removed, which was very likely a thickness problem, as the Fold Special Edition also didn't have it. Now, on the other hand, there are rumors of an Apple Pencil type S Pen being developed for the Fold 7, one that won't rely on Wacom tech to input to the screen, which I think is a great move, as the sooner Samsung can develop a non-Wacom S Pen, the sooner they can remove the digitizer from the S26 Ultra, for example, as well, making it even thinner then. As for its durability rating, this is set to remain the same at IP48, so the same as the Fold 6. So pretty good with water, although not so great with dust. The next feature is set to be One UI 8. We may actually get One UI 8 on these foldable devices, the Fold 7 and the Flip 7, making them the first ever Samsung devices to get One UI 8, even ahead of the Ultra series. One UI 8 feature that we may see is an adaptive lock screen clock that would expand itself to fill the empty space and match your wallpaper better. There's also said to be some AI generation updates, essentially Galaxy AI features expanding when it comes to photo generation. And I would also expect the same 7 years of usual software updates, unless you've got the Enterprise Edition, which should offer 8. So far, so good, but there is one big downside of the Fold 7. and that's when it comes to the battery and the charging. Based on the leaks, the battery capacity is actually set to remain at 4,400 mAh, which will technically be a 4273, but marketed as 4,400, just like the Fold 6, which had a pretty good battery life, although not great. And yes, this battery is not expected to be silicon carbon, so the large battery capacity jump will have to come maybe next year. And just like the Fold 6, the charging speeds are also set to remain the same at 25 watts, which is pretty poor. And then wireless charging is set to remain also the same at 15, and the same 4.5 watt reverse wireless charging. Onto the release date, the event itself is on the 9th of July at 3 p.m. UK time, or 10 a.m. where it's hosted in New York. Samsung usually has 2 weeks of pre-orders before they start shipping their devices, so my guess is that they'll ship at the end of July, or in the worst case, at the start of August. As for the price, the rumors are unfortunately pointing towards a pretty significant price increase, with the leak suggesting 2,227 euros for the 256GB model. Although the 512GB price has been leaked in pounds, which is 1,975. 2,227 euros would be around 1,910 pounds converted directly, so I would guess it will cost 1,899 pounds for the 256 model, and then 100 more, so 199 for the 512. But then on the other hand, leaker Panda Flash Pro says that in the UK, in Belgium, and in Japan, the prices will actually stay the same. So I think pricing-wise, it's still a bit hard to work it out. Although with foldables, it's worth remembering that they do depreciate like crazy. For example, the Fold 6 is currently available at 749 pounds in very good condition on eBay, which is over 1,000 pounds off. So if you just wait a few months, you'll be able to buy the Fold 7 for pretty cheap. But yeah, having said all of this, the Fold 7, at least to me, is shaping up to be the ultimate foldable. One that I'm very confident will be my main foldable as well for a very long time. Although I feel like the Fold 8 is where things will get perfected, with possibly a silicon carbon battery and maybe an improved telephoto and ultra-wide modules as well. Still, these are just leaks, so some things may of course change. Something that you should definitely keep in mind. Other than that, make sure to subscribe, as we will have way more videos on the Fold 7 after the official event. Don't forget about the reservation bonuses if you want to reserve yourself a Fold 7 or a Flip 7 by using the link below. Check out our app Wallpapers for some awesome designs, and I'll see you guys in the next one. ZONEofTECH, signing out. Cheers.